One way to traverse the roughly 300 miles of fjord-laden Norwegian coast between Trondheim and Bergen is an overnight stay on a Hurtigruten cruise ship. They've got many in their fleet, with their bread and butter journey being up and down the whole Norwegian coastline. These are mid-sized cruise ships. This one was the Nordnorge, which is about 400 feet long with a capacity of 590 guests, though this is low season, so it was mostly empty. Okay, can you see us? Look how cute we are in our twin beds. The ships are primarily cabins of varying types, as they're basically floating hotels. And so we're on the same page here. Definitely on the pricey bougie side of the cost spectrum. A few hundred per person per night is a safe starting assumption. So taking that whole journey would be a big cost. And we were in the cheapest cabin. But the ships are very nicely appointed with big observation decks and lounges and restaurants. The food is extravagant and correspondingly expensive in the main restaurant. You can pre-purchase meal plans, but assume they're going to charge you like a minimum of $70 per person per meal. We only bought the lunches, which were a pretty large buffet, so we just used them as like a brunch. I'd rate them like a 7 out of 10 personally. Decent selection, interesting things to try, but for the high price, there wasn't so much that really wowed me. Definitely recommend considering the a la carte instead. After our excursion, I purchased a very reasonably priced moose and seaweed sausage plate, which sadly basically tasted like a normal sausage. If you want to go crazy, they'll kill a giant crab for you too. Some of the ships have outdoor hot tubs on the back too, and I went out of my way to confirm that ours had one. We just ran into a little bit of trouble trying to actually use it. This ship has 2 hot tubs on the back. You can see the other one back there. It's closed though. We had some issues when we got on board. The hot tubs had no water in them because the ship had been dealing with 8-meter waves the night before. There's about 25-foot waves where all the water sloshed out. We had some sloshing issues last night too. I think that's why that one's closed. But this is successful, finally. We're getting off the ship later this afternoon, so I only have limited examples of times when I would be able to actually get in. So I have made my principled stance out in the rain and the mist and the water, and I think Danny's just going to sleep. But damn it, I'm going to come in here for 10 minutes. This was actually my second time in a Hurtigruten hot tub, as I spent a night on another ship when I visited northern Norway in 2019. Check out my older video on that experience. Just so happens we passed that exact ship, the Polarys, on our way out of Trondheim. I got a big kick out of that, and apparently the captains did too. These horns are ridiculously loud and were echoing back and forth off the hills nearby. Since they stop at many ports along the way, getting on and off can be pretty informal at many of them. The giant ship just slides up against the pier, lowers a drawbridge for 15 minutes, and then leaves. Bergen has a whole airport terminal thing going on at the end, though. The last major thing I should mention is Hurtigruten offers excursions at certain points in the voyage, sometimes timed such that you meet the ship again at a later port down the coast, which is pretty cool. And on this day, we had the option of going to visit the Bergtatt marble mine. I couldn't find much online about this beforehand. Turns out it's first a bus ride along a pretty famous stretch of coast with a walk at a scenic viewpoint. Would have been really great, I think, had it not been pitch dark, but that's our fault for the time of year. Then it's a visit to an active mine site in a mountain. There's a big open main chamber with a spot to hop on little motorized rafts on a subterranean lake. They've placed color-changing lights and play ethereal music as you cruise around, nice and peaceful. You stop off at a landing to watch a video and drink some of the pure mountain water, which just tastes like normal water. But you can see that the lake really is impressively clear. Then they drive you around the same path on the lake 2 more times. I was ready to go back after number 2, personally. Finally, you go into an offshoot chamber from the main one, which they've set up as a concert hall. They feed you a traditional miner's soup, which is a very basic veggie and meat broth with some crackers. Not a full dinner compared to what you get on the ship. Don't fall into that trap like I did of thinking it was going to be. And they play you some more videos on a projector. Ultimately, one I found quite interesting on the mining operations, but first, while eating, one of an Elvis impersonator that had previously played in the concert hall. I have to say, this was a very strange vibe. Ultimately, that excursion was interesting, and it's nice to take a break from the rocking of the ship, but I'm still not sure it was worth it. Weird experience. The cruise overall, though, I think is worth it. Not only useful transportation, but a kind of unique thing in its own right. The ship is super impressive. Just hope you don't get a day with those 25-foot waves. If you made it this far, please do subscribe and check out my other Norway videos as I build up the playlist. Thanks for watching.